Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the 2018 Halo World Championship Finals. We're here in Seattle, and the next game is a doozy, Dan. It's going to be Team EnVy taking on another European team here in Vexed eBuyer. Dan, always very excited to have my son in the booth with me, and definitely looking forward to getting into this series.
I'm really excited for it. I want to know what Vexed have to offer. They didn't come out, they didn't have the same kind of scrim practice we've seen from the likes of Infused, but they do have some powerful individuals on that team. I want to see what Riot's is up to, what's Lunny up to. Can they bring the noise for Europe? Because Europe struggled a little bit today. We've seen Infused fall, we've seen Fable fall, but maybe, just maybe, Vexed can make their own World Championship story today.
Very, very interesting point that you make there. As you say, Infused and Fable not having the greatest of starts for Europe out here. A chance for Vexed here, however, on the other side of things, Dan, of course, we have the boys in blue in Team EnVy. They're going to be looking to make a hell of a run in this tournament. They want that championship ring and that title of Halo World Champions. A little bit disappointed with the last placements in Orlando and Columbus, but they're definitely going to be looking to make amends for that here today.
I mean, EnVy have just surprised me that this team has gone through a few roster changes, and I wasn't really sure on how they would move forward throughout Halo 5 when they lost some absolutely phenomenal players, but it seems like they're always there. They're always hanging with the big dogs. You can't ignore the likes of Boobadoobie, the likes of Pistola. I mean, I'm so excited for this series, but I can't look past EnVy, to be honest, Mark. I'd love to be maybe turned on my decision and Vexed to just show up and like surprise the whole of America, but I think the crowd's going to be behind EnVy here, and quite rightly so, because even if we just look at the statistics from the games, they look so strong, so dominant.
That's very, very true. And this is going to be your series layout for this Group D match. We're going to start off with some Strongholds action on Plaza. Then we move into Regret Slayer. Capture the Flag, Truth will be our game at number 3. And if required, Dan, Strongholds on Empire and Slayer Coliseum to end things out. Anything that jumps out to you there that you might worry for the guys on EnVy or Vexed, or any particularly strong game types? Because I know as a stat man, you love to look at those stats.
As a stat man. Vexed, they look actually, they've got some good game types for themselves. Coliseum Slayer, that's a 73% win rate for them in scrims recently, one of their better game types. Slayer Regret is also one of their better game types, so it's not the end of the world for them. They've got some good game types in there, but unfortunately they're going up against EnVy, who have pretty solid statistics across all game types. They're one of the better teams, one of the more all-rounded teams across every single game type. They don't really have a weak point. I guess just looking across those 5 game types, the best chance for Vexed, in theory, would be the Strongholds Plaza game, because EnVy only have a 56% win rate across their latest scrims.
Well, that's the stats for you, Dan. I love your stats. You always get me going.
A little bit hot under the collar.
A little bit hot under the collar with those. But let's talk about EnVy. I want you to pick out a player here that you're going to be keeping an eye on during this Halo World Championship Finals. Obviously, they've come up a little bit short in the previous 2 tournaments, like we mentioned, but there's so many big names on this team. You just need a couple of players to maybe raise their game just that little bit more to get the best out of this lineup.
I want to know what Pistola was rock, paper, scissoring for there. Like, are they just finding out who can get the more kills in the game? Like, who gets the sniper, etc. But Pistola, that man on your screen, I have to just say, he is the one you've got to watch out for. I mean, he's been around for quite a while now. We've seen him grow from a boy to a man, or just about a man. He's about as much of a man as I am nowadays. But, I mean, he is a phenomenal player, and I think if anyone is going to give that extra bit of buzz to EnVy, it's probably going to be him, alongside the likes of Boo Boo, of course.
Yeah, of course, we will definitely have some Pistola fans here in Seattle. Such a storied player, of course, missed out on that first Halo World Championships. Devastating for him, obviously came back stronger now, part of this envious team, and alongside his teammates Trippy, Boobadoobie, and Saiyan, he's going to be looking to obviously add that championship title to this lineup. Now let's go over to the other side once more. Vexed eBuyer. Explain a little bit about some of these players, maybe to some of our North American viewers here who haven't been following this team, what they've achieved, and who are the players to look out for on this squad.
I mean, in terms of like history within Halo, if we go quite far back, Riot is the only one with the real history, right? We could talk Halo 3, Halo 4, Halo Reach. He's been there at the top of the European scene for quite some time. Snipe Drone, he came in a little bit later, but again, he's dominated Europe. He's been on teams with the likes of the best players, like the Bucks, for example, who unfortunately have retired now. And then you've got Lunny, you've got Cristola, you've got 2 players who kind of turn up out of nowhere when Halo 5 started. Lunny actually made me retire from Halo 5, I'm not going to lie.
Bless your heart.
Losing to him on matchmaking was the worst thing that could possibly happen at the time because I thought he was awful. And then he turns up, he becomes one of the best players in Europe, and now he's showing up and he's at the World Championships. What a moment.
I just want to point out, always a big fan of whenever you see a Riot's player picture, look how confident that arm fold was in the background there. It always excites me whenever I see that picture behind him because it really is a beautiful thing. But talking of beautiful things, Dan, the series is about to get underway now. It's going to be Strongholds on Plaza for your game number 1. 100 points to win. And once again, this will be the battle between North America and Europe.
Yeah, we really need to see early control from Vexed. They've watched their European counterparts really struggle in the late game, but if you can get fiery nice and early, that gives you a better chance with those later stages where really we've seen so much struggle from European competition as Riot's picking up some big kills early on.
Yeah, 2 kills do fall, but it looks like kills will be traded across the board. Not sure if anyone managed to get their hands on that early camo. As you can see here is actually Snipe Drone, who was taken down. So looks like a bit of a battle for bottom mid at the moment, and a big win coming in from Quadios is going to open up the map here. It looks like Vex prioritized that bottom middle stronghold there. They've completed their job, and they're going to have control of that stronghold.
Yeah, they've won the initial battle, but now they need to get involved in the actual war because both teams were just focused so heavily on that bottom middle. They both lost players here, there, and everywhere. And now Quad, an interesting line of play, just jumping out. Maybe he was trying to avoid a grenade there, but thankfully Snipe Drone comes along to clear things up as finally points are starting to be put on the board, but it's going to be EnVy who take bottom middle during that little scuffle at blue.
Yeah, it looks like they're pushing aggressively already for that triple cap, and here's a gold rec pack for you people at home. Head over to halo.gg and pop in Seattle Finals and you'll get yourself a free gold rec pack to help you out in Halo 5, and that's always a nice thing to get in, isn't it, Dan? Nice free stuff.
Always good, but I mean, speaking of good, look at this from EnVy. They've got total control. As I say, that Vex do get one on the board, but EnVy really controlling the top of the map, and they're kind of spreading Vex quite thin. You can see individual players are falling at every point in the map. Riot's got caught out on his own there, so doing really well EnVy to kind of spread up Vex here.
And a smart play from Pistola there. He realized that all the guys on Vex there, they had to try and rotate back to Yard there just because of the respawn that they were given. Now he's going to solo cap that bottom mid stronghold, pick up an easy back smack on Riot. Sayan picks up another kill here. That'll be 2 dead, and that means that points will be racking up pretty quickly here for Team EnVyUs.
Yeah, I wonder what the communication's like for Vex as well, because you saw on Pistola's radar, there was someone close as he went for that back smack. That's where he was hesitant to push out of Cathay, but no one from Vex actually went for that fight. Maybe when you see the name Pistola getting the kill, you don't actually want to push into a 1 versus 1. I know I wouldn't want to, as now Sayan's going to get involved in the action over here at Cathay.
Yeah, Sayan's definitely a player I'm going to be keeping my eye on during this tournament. He's had some very strong individual performances across the last couple of tournaments, but again, Team EnVyUs just coming up short for whatever reason. So him and Trippy, that duo, when they play well, Dan, it seems like EnVyUs wins. So definitely a storyline to keep an eye on and 2 players to keep your eye out for as this tournament progresses.
And realistically, we've got to look at this game 44-2 and say, how on earth are Vex going to get back into this when we've seen European teams really have that struggle in the late game? Because Vex haven't even got the early game on the go. But I think they just need to be communicating a little bit better, work out what they ideally want to be pushing for, because they finally work themselves out of spawn, but then they're spreading and they're going for both bottom middle and then they're going for nest as well.
51-2 going to be the score. EnVyUs are rolling, so I actually want to jump into a listen in to hear how they're communicating and see how they're racking these points up.
Yeah, he's sword.
Jardy in yard, Jardy in yard.
Blue spawn, pushing
Just
flowers,
hold what we
2 in
have
here,
right now.
2 in here, hold on.
2 flowers, 2.
2 flowers, one behind one.
Flower door. Mark it.
He's going yard ledge.
Alarm.
I'm pushing
Mark it,
behind
mark
him.
it.
They have no idea. They have no
Mark it
idea.
dead. Top yellow, kill me. Top yellow,
Top
kill
yellow,
me.
jump down.
Yellow.
Yellow
has 3 shots.
2 dead, we are 2 dead.
2 dead here.
We're in yard, keep bottom when we spawn, keep bottom when we spawn. We're gonna get nest.
We're solo capping yard.
Let me
Go
get
bottom.
We're capping nest,
Yeah, that.
They get spawn.
I have shoddy.
Bottom mid.
Yeah, I got it.
I saw him blue.
Good.
Wow,
LR hiding.
LR? You said?
Yeah, he's
LR,
like...
he has 3 shots. 1 shot. I got a
Score.
score.
I got
I
naded
think
in
he has
glass,
word.
1 shot.
Yeah, just
Blue. Glass. He said glass still. He's sitting glass. He dropped down.
Hit a glass.
Oh, he's still there.
No, he dropped down. He's going blue.
Last shot.
We have 2.
Going benches, just shotgun.
Alright, I'm trying to help Joey.
LR bottom mill. LR on the cello. LR on the cello. Yo, top mid, the U-turn.
Pushing.
Watch
Pushing.
the driveway. They're nading it. I can't stop this, but I'm gonna nade it.
Yeah,
See what I can do.
slay.
About 46.
3 shots driveway. 3 shots driveway.
Dip.
Chuck, 1 shot.
Jardy dead.
He might go. Yeah, he's
46 S. S4, he dropped on me.
Yo, silo, U-turn.
1 shot,
Silo,
U-turn,
no,
1 shot,
wait,
U-turn.
Silo's
2 dead,
I'm nading.
1 shot U-turn. 2 there.
I'm thrusting at him.
So
That was 3 dead.
Cool, calm and collected, Dan. To be honest with you, what we would expect from Team EnVyUs and Trippy Pistola are doing work bottom middle at the moment. Vexed are getting outplayed in this game, number 1. EnVyUs seem to have started this one off hot.
I mean, getting that chance to have a listen in and see how teams communicate is always an interesting thing for me. One thing I noticed from the communications of EnVy is that it seems like they're just having a chat. You don't have those kind of frantic call-outs of top mid, bottom mid, left, left, right, right. They're kind of like, hey, do you want to push with me over here? Do you want to push with me over there?
And another thing to point out is actually kind of communication ahead of time as well. You heard when they were momentarily losing control, when Vex picked up a few kills, one of the players actually said, okay, bottom mid is what we're getting off respawn. Bottom mid is what we're going to stop off respawn, then we can move from there. And that forward thinking really is one of these things that separates these top North American teams from some of their counterparts from over the sea.
Yeah, I know that European teams do sometimes get a little bit flustered with their callouts where they get too focused on that one player that they're shooting at, and they'll keep screaming and calling it out as almost Trippy gets a stick for a triple. That would have been absolutely nuts, but it's 94-8, Mark. I think this game is pretty much put to bed by this point. EnVy have been so strong, and Vex just haven't been able to come back into this one.
Kills falling across the board here. Pistola with control of the shotgun as well. 98-8 the score. It's going to tick over. It's going to be Envious who take your game. #1 in this series in dominant fashion as well, Dan. Not too short of what we expected, but a little bit of a limp effort there coming in from Vex. To be honest with you, I was expecting a little bit more in that game #1.
Certainly every European team today have not started particularly hot. They seem to have not been warmed up, and maybe not the European teams we've seen in European tournaments. But NA counterparts, they're just so much better. These tournaments are so much more difficult. The games are so much faster. They're not as passive as some of the European games that we see as we take a look at some of the statistics. And I think the scoreline speaks for itself. I don't really think the statistics matter too much, but Pistola going 12-4, it's always nice to get a decent amount of kills, give you a little bit of confidence when you go into that game #2. Your shot's going to feel good if you've been winning individual fights, so certainly EnVy will be feeling very confident going into this next game.
Yeah, and Saiyan doing a lot of damage as well. You can see 13 assists coming in from him, so big performance from him in that game, and of course EnVy is looking completely and utterly dominant in it as well. I mean, what is it that separates the teams? We talk about it and we see, you know, EnVy just seem to be constantly fighting people who are low shields. It's never a straight 1v1. How do teams go about that for some people who might be jumping in, watching the Halo World Championships for the first time, maybe not Halo fans before this event? Talk to us a little bit what separates these two teams.
It's prioritizing, it's staying alive. It's some things that you don't see the lower end of Halo do. People just rush for the kill, they die, and then they call someone out. Instead of putting a few shots, switching out, getting that baiting, that switching with a team, and then prioritizing the kills that need to be had. Sometimes a one shot that's running away from you isn't as important as someone who's sitting in a stronghold, for example. That's one thing that North American teams are very good at, is prioritizing who to be killing and when.
Well, let's see if Team Envious can continue that solid prioritization that we saw in the first game. Now, Team Envious, we're going to start off with Pistola here as he's going down to pink 1. Trippy picking up that first kill in the team battle. However, looks like Quadios has managed to steal that overshield away here for Vexed.
Yeah, and Quadios is just one of those players that has incredible slaying power, usually we do see Vex performing extremely well on this game type. However, an early start and a plasma pistol arriving in the face is not going to be the best scenario.
Yeah, it looked like Envious were happy to actually give up that overshield. You saw Trippy immediately going up top, getting hold of that plasma pistol. Of course, that is the way to combat that overshield, and Trippy hitting some really solid shots at the start of this one. 6-2 your score at the moment, and that green gun in his hand is going to make life so difficult for Vex, not only in the 1v1 battles, but when they're coming off those respawns, Dan, you get hit by that horrible green blob, and before you know it, you know shields.
Yeah, and the fact that you're already 4 kills down as well, you're already on the back foot, you're already wondering how are we going to get back into this game, where do we need to be pushing, we don't want to give away silly deaths, but Team Envious are just relentless, they are not giving up, they are jumping on every single spawn from Vex right now. You can see how they are trying to pincer them as well, attacking them from several angles rather than just going for a direct angle as well. Really good stuff from Envious. This is going to go southwards very quickly if it carries on, Mark.
Yeah, you're going to see a big kill swing here. You can already see the score, 11-1, all of the ones, and Quadios taking out his teammate Riots really is not going to help the cause. It's hard enough 4 against 4, Dan, not 5 against 3.
Sometimes you kind of panic nade when you're in these scenarios, when you are spawning very quickly, you just want to get out of the base. Unfortunately, he does just find a teammate with that. Vex, they're putting 1, 2, 3, make that 4 kills on the board now, so at least Riot's been able to escape this dreadful spawn trap that Envious have managed to lay down upon them, but they really need to get something important that's on the map. They need to grab themselves one of those power weapons, grab themselves a power-up. That overshield is going to be so important in about 10, 15 seconds.
And Riot's had 2 players coming off the respawn there, pushing him on the car. Did a pretty good job of delaying his death, but it looked like his teammates were a little bit slow maybe to react to that call out. See, when you've got 2 players pushing you, then it's a cut-off they should have been aware of. Always going to see players trying to push out of the car side of bases, especially when they're coming off of that respawn. So a little bit of a misplay there from Vexed, in my opinion, not quite getting that communication down, as we see actually Pistola now get the second overshield of the game. So the first one was in the hands of Vex, but with the score at 17-6 down, an overshield in the hands of Pistola is really going to be bad news here for Vex.
And one of the biggest mistakes people can make when they're going for that overshield bottom middle as well is staring at the overshield, saying, I know it's going to be coming up in 3 seconds, so I'm just going to look at it and then I'm going to jump at it. Instead, Pistola was looking around the overshield, looking at who's pushing it, finishing off kills from his teammates, and then he gets called out. His coach tells him, his teammates tell him, overshield's up. He's like, okay, jump backwards onto it, picks it up blind.
Pistola now moving towards top middle all across the board here. You can see a couple of players actually dropping from his team. He's going to use that plasma caster effectively to take down Quadios. And look at Trippy having his back there as well. Pistola got shot twice, didn't get taken down, as we see Trippy take down Riots. That's the communication, that's the teamwork, and being able to get angles across the map to cover your teammates, keep them alive, but also pick up those vital kills.
Now, similarly to what I said earlier about when EnVy went up against Reciprocity, this is a good starting game for Vex. This is a game that Vex can lose in this group and still be able to move out of pool play. It's a real good chance just to warm up, get a feeler, see how the team's feeling, get the communication on the go, not get too downhearted, and then move on to the rest of the series. But they haven't really woken up. They would have at least wanted to give EnVy a little bit of a challenge, and at the moment, individual shots are off, teamwork is off, everything not going too well for Vex. EnVy just clearly the better side.
Sayan and Trippy picking up kills. Quadios manages to pick one up here for Vex, but with the score at 29-13, something incredibly bad is going to happen to Envious, or incredibly good from Vex to get back into this one. However, Dan, on this map, Regret, there's always a chance of getting that big kill swing. If you get a fresh 3 or 4 dead, get an overshield, you can get those players on respawn in those bases, and it's such a difficult one to get out of. Obviously, you have so many angles and you're in such a tight situation. As Quadios had the opportunity to win a big battle there, but Trippy just showing that experience. 3-fall here for the guys on Vex. That's going to be total map control. Make it 4. They all fall down.
I think they all dropped for that overshield as well and were unable to get it, so that's going to be a massive 20-kill lead for EnVy. And yeah, you're right, you can have these comebacks on Regret, but the trouble is for Vex, they're kind of using those Spartan abilities. They're using their sprint just to get away from people off their spawn, but obviously then they're turning up on radar, and then they're just being shut down immediately. It's a real struggle for all of these Vex players. I think we've all been in this scenario at some point, whether it be matchmaking or tournament play. You do just get outplayed by another team.
So impressed by the teamwork we're seeing here from Envious as well. It's going to be another player completely caught off guard there by Pistola. Killing spree for Pistola, that's 5 kills without reply from him. And he was the player you highlighted, Dan, that you wanted to see go off in this series. And he looks like he's doing a pretty good job of it right now.
Something really small there from Pistola as well. He had an opportunity to just keep firing and move forward and go for the melee. But actually that opens yourself up to being ninja'd. Instead, he just took those shots, backed off, knowing he was going to win that fight anyway. So those subtle little things that can make a player great is really nice to see.
Quadios is going to be taken down here. Pistola picks up another kill. Just 7 kills now for the guys on Envious to go 2 up in the series. Of course, this is a best of 5 as well, so they'll move just 1 game away from taking the series, and you're putting up an important win for them in this group situation, but that's just going to put all the pressure back on Vexed here, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's no pressure in this game, and I guess that's the good thing, but you are completely right. The pressure that's going to unfold in the next coming games, because realistically, when we've looked at these groups, Vexed are not expected to get out of their pool, and it would be a very big surprise if they would be able to, as Pistola is on a tear, getting a double, looks for the triple, and actually finds it with a kill in frenzy, Mark. I mean, I said to watch out for the player. I think he's performing pretty well.
Ola's turning up right now. Frenzy for Ola. Just 1 more kill here for Team Envious. The triple kill as well to highlight those medals. Desperately trying to stay alive, doing wizard-like things to close it out, and Sayan is the player who gets the final kill here. Steak dinners all round for everyone in Seattle, because Team Envious win your game number 2.
And look at that right at the end, Pistola. They're 49-24 up, or however much the gulf of difference was, and he still stays alive, doesn't give away a death. Instead, he wants to carry on that spree and not have his statistics look that bad. Wow, Envious just look like a different class from Vexed. I mean, I can talk up Vexed and these individual players and how good they are in the European scene all I like, but you're going up against one of the best, one of the greatest teams in North America.
And look at that stat line. I got your Pistola, 16 kills, 8.0 KD ratio, a killing frenzy, a triple kill, 2 killing sprees, double kill. I mean, what didn't he do?
He's got everything there, really, hasn't he?
He pretty much got everything, yeah. 11 assists as well, why not?
You can't really complain
Two
about
deaths.
anything
I've just
in that
seen two
game.
deaths, sorry.
Boo Doo is just kind of chilling at the bottom, getting assists, going 5 and 7. It was a breeze for EnVyUs. Now we just need to move into that game 3 and we need to see something different from Vexed. They just need to have like a little bit of a quiet time. Maybe a toilet break would be good for them right now, just to kind of slow things down and say, right, we're probably going to lose this series, but how can we make ourselves look respectable? Because right now we're getting slapped about. And we need to actually do something so that people might fear us in the upcoming games.
Yeah, the thing we have to remember as well is we look back to the EnVy Reciprocity series earlier. EnVy went down 2-0 in a fairly similar manner, to be honest with you. They kind of got slapped about a little bit in those first 2 games. Then that game 3 happened, and it's amazing how quickly things can turn around in a series. I'm trying to give them a little bit of hope here. However, I think you summed it up pretty well. I think EnVyUs are just looking that dominant at the moment that this could well be the last game of this series, of this Group D match. As we move over to Truth now, Dan, for Capture the Flag. Who do you want to start this one off with?
Well, it looks like Riots is going to be the man just automatically chosen by, I think, Wonderboy is going to be observing for us. Thank you very much, Wonderboy, for your incredible observing, whilst also being on the analyst desk. Double the work, as Riots does get an early kill. Can't, unfortunately, see that camouflage. The camouflage has gone elsewhere. I'm wondering how quick this is going to be, because EnVy really have a chance with the momentum they've gained from the first 2 games, just to really be able to push through, get a quick 3-0 in a couple of minutes. But Vexed won't want to go out without some sort of a bang, Mark.
Solar is going to have the first camouflage of the game. Going to catch Podios off guard here. Now you're going to see potentially a push come in, but as Snipe Drone picked up that kill there, you'll see Pistola. Yes, he had that player no shields, but this is what we mean by prioritization, isn't it, Dan? Choosing your kills. He could have pushed that kill. He probably could have got that kill. However, deciding by staying alive, his teammates were in a 3v4 situation, take some angles, help a teammate, level it up, and now look at the push coming in here from EnVy.
I mean, it's something that Pistola would have learned from being somewhat a free-for-all player. You really learn prioritization in free-for-all because you know which kills you are or aren't going to be able to get and put on the scoreboard. And Pistola, if he's one of those players, if you allow him to kind of play free-for-all while his whole team around him is just assisting him and he's looking around finishing them off, you're going to be in for a very difficult time. As saying, unfortunately, does fall whilst top mid. So Vex doing pretty well to keep these kills kind of toe-to-toe. We're only looking at maybe a 2-kill difference between both teams right now.
Yeah, they're going to have to get this return, of course. They can't leave this one because if EnVy get a touch on that flag, it's pretty much going to be converted. The return does come in. I believe it was Riots who jumped on that one. So at least they get that flag back to base. A little bit of a reset and a little bit more back and forth from what we saw in those first couple of games. Lunny almost wins a big battle, but Trippy turns that one around. And now you're going to see Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo, just as all the action's happening, he's got a flag in hand. And not only that, he's going to run it back and EnVy are going to take the lead.
I think maybe one thing that has been a slight downside for Vexed in this series is lack of sniper rifles on these maps. Snipe Drone, one of the greatest snipers within Europe, hasn't really had that chance to shine. Instead, you've just got your pure pistol skills taking forward in these first 3 game types.
Interesting to see here, Boo-Boo-Doo-Boo currently has 0 kills. He might pick one up here. However, he, of course, does have that flag capture on the board. So 1-0 the score at the moment, and now the team fight going down for that camo, and it's going to be a Vexed player who manages to get it up. If he can stay alive here, Lunny, he's trying to milk all that he can. He can see 2 blips on his radar. Look at him get hunted down here by Team EnVyUs, though. That was an opportunity, and Pistola also jumping on a return. No camouflage, no flag here for Vexed. Team EnVyUs now with a push onto the Vexed base.
It was unfortunate timing for Lunny that actually the flag was pulled because it naturally drew all of EnVy right down to P to contest him with the camouflage. Maybe if that flag wasn't pulled, he'd be able to get away, do something with the camo, but I mean, hindsight is, of course, a fantastic thing. Instead, Pistola's going to try and survive himself. It's interesting that you kind of take these low routes as well on a map like this, because you are usually tempted to go maybe top car, top pink, but sometimes going down low can work out very well.
Now here's an opportunity here for Vex. They had 4 dead there. Sam picked up a kill, but did get traded out by the stick, so keep an eye on the kill feed. If Vex can pick up a few more kills, they might have an opportunity to run this flag. However, things are just not falling into their hands, and that's a real worry for me. When a team has a 4 dead situation, Dan, and they can't get that flag moving, and they're not even picking up a few respawn kills, it's a real struggle for them, and I really think that they're struggling in this game, and their communication is definitely not on point for me.
I mean, you look through the 4 Vexed players, and you kind of wonder who is going to be that one man that steps up and does, like, the objective work, for example, because Riot Rocket's always been one of those Slayers for me. Quad, always been a Slayer. Snipe Drone, always a Slayer. Lunny, you guess what I'm going to say? Pretty much a Slayer as well. They've had to kind of rejig this team because of what happened with Europe with all the changes. And yes, okay, they've been very successful. They've managed to get to the World Championships, but they need to be stepping it up at this moment.
And look at the difference in the two teams here. That was a 3-dead situation. EnVy pulled the flag, but the patience from Saiyan, deciding not to immediately go for that flag, waiting for the kills to come in. The difference between the two teams can just be shown in those last two flag pulls. That's going to be the second flag on the board here for EnVy. Just one flag to go now for them to close out this series 3-0.
And don't get me wrong, I don't think Vexed will be too disheartened with this performance. I think they knew coming into this how strong EnVy would be. And for those of you watching thinking, oh, Europe are trash, they can't even keep up with EnVy. It's EnVy. One of the best teams in North America at the moment. They should be up there, top 4, if not top 3, maybe even top 2, who knows. But Vexed, they're really struggling here, but they do have other chances to maybe progress through this pool.
Bit of P-side control here for Vexed. Is a player behind him. If he can win this battle, it would be huge, but look at the help that comes in here. You have Quadio set up on P3, and still the camo player getting pretty much traded out there, not being effective, and you're not using the power-ups effectively. I mean, it's going to be a struggle, to be honest with you, Dan. Vex really don't look at the races at the moment. 7 minutes left on the clock, and you see Riot's now having to play defense. Lunny gets taken down as well, has a player under his base as well as a player. Look at the swarm coming in here from EnVy. 2 full in succession. That'll be 3. Now you're going to see that flag get moved almost immediately.
One of the reasons why Vexed are so successful in Europe is because they get given that time to kind of have a think, have a plan about what they want to do, whereas EnVy are really not allowing that because they are just there. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, every time in their face.
Yeah, Quadios is the only player alive who might be able to do something here. Does get the flagpole. However, I'm not too sure about that challenge. And also throwing the return up to the opposition's team. The return comes in now. Can they capture that flag? All about the kills. Lunny's trying desperately to get some kills on the board, but the patience again from EnVy, realizing the prioritization is important. Saying getting 2. Quadio somehow stops it again, but now you are going to see the patience pay off here. Finally, hopefully, 2 kills go in. Trippy ends the game, and it's going to be Team Envious who win the series 3-0. A dominating performance from them, exactly how they would have wanted to start the 2018 Halo World Championship Finals.
I think it's what EnVy would have expected. I think it's what the crowd expected, is what everyone watching at home expected. To be honest, probably what Vexed expected as well. But you've got to remember, these are not the only 2 teams in this pool. We have Elevate, we have Immunity. They've already gone up against each other. Elevate won 3-0 against Immunity. Vexed are going to be thinking, how do we get our wins elsewhere? We can put EnVy to the side now. We don't need to worry about that. We need to be looking at 2nd place in this pool. We need to qualify for that top 8, for that championship bracket. So their heads maybe elsewhere. Might want to forget about that game. But once again, Boo Boo Doo. I mean, I've always known him as an absolute slaying machine, but he is just an assisting monster. He was everywhere on that map.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of damage, and that's the important thing. We're seeing players like Trippy. You can see big kills from him, and the other 2 players, Pistola and Saiyan, doing their work as well. But it's much easier to get those kills down, of course, when you've got a teammate who's shooting everyone for you, making your life a little bit easier, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Pistola, he really enjoyed himself throughout that game. You could see he was having a smile to the crowd as well. What an incredible performance from Team EnVy.
Yeah, incredible performance from EnVy. Vex getting taken aside, getting swept aside, to be honest with you. But we're going to send it back down to the desk now and Golden Boy, because to be honest, mate, I miss your voice.
Thank you so much. I miss my voice too. Welcome back, everyone.
To me, I think.
No, he said Golden Boy. Fairly certain.
He did say Golden Boy.
I can't see a world where anyone would possibly miss your voice. I'm kidding. All right, welcome everyone back to the desk here. EnVy gave the shellacking to Vex. That was a 3-0 sweep for the boys in blue. You know, I think Gaskin at onset said it best. While everyone had expected this, even Vex possibly expected this. But EnVy, though, really playing lights out, and I'm glad to see this because we've seen EnVy continuously perform at the beginning of tournaments, Lethal, whether it was Orlando or Columbus. They had some strong starts here, but it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, and they need to continue to ride this kind of momentum if they want to make a dent in that top 2.
And it's like I said before, I want to see the Day 2 Orlando from EnVy, and we've seen some signs of it now, and they completely demolished Vex in every single game. It wasn't just one, it wasn't showing any inconsistencies like the other top 4 teams did, because even though some of them dropped a game or there was a few flaky games here and there where they were quite close, it was nice to actually see them actually showing such progression, such consistency against the second best EU team. So they made them look as though, you know, they were absolutely nothing.
It's pretty much what we all predicted, right? I mean, we all called it a 3-0 Envious, and it depended on what Vexed eBuyer team turned up, whether or not they were going to take a game. I think Envious were always going to win this series. I saw no dimension in which Vexed EnVy team would win this series against Team EnVyUs. Because
not even in the darkest timeline?
Not even in the darkest timeline, Alex, because this is an EnVyUs team, and Gaskin said it best on the cast, in the commentary. This is an EnVyUs team that should be pushing to win the Halo World Championships, and we saw it throughout the entirety of this series, how coordinated they are. They absolutely outclassed the second best European team, and it wasn't even close.
Yeah, I'd say it would have taken a serious injury to Pistola's thumbs for Vex to have any chance in this series. Pistola just playing lights out. I mean, that's exactly what you want to see from a guy that's been playing lights out for, what, a decade now? I mean, free-for-all champion, national champion. I mean, he's done it over and over again. Why wouldn't he do it here? Starting off extremely hot. I love seeing that out of Pistola, just personally. Watching him, the way he moves around the map, it's just, no one's ever done it like him, and no one will ever do it like him. So it's something special to watch.
Yeah, he's just one of those players where, you know, it doesn't matter how old he is, it doesn't matter if it's 10 years ago or today, he's still got that same map movement. But going into Game 3 now, we kind of saw, with Vex, they showed a little bit of light in terms of at least trying to make some kind of something to happen, but the problem is the fact that their priorities were just all over the place. There were certain situations where they should be focusing on each other when they're going through pink side, but instead of focusing on like their bubble for some unknown reason. There was a lot of other opportunities they could have actually made, but especially this night drone with Kemi, he made some good plays, but then again, it was wasted as well. So I felt like Vex just weren't on point, not just in this game, but just this entire series. So, but we can remember, they're playing against a team who will potentially get first in that group, so hopefully they won't get demoralized, you know, they won't have some flip movement in their momentum, so hopefully they'll just think strong and go to this next game.
A 3-0 sweep for EnVyUs, ending that CTF Truth game 3-0. You know, EnVy, again, we kind of said how this is a squad that is potentially looking for that top spot here at the Halo World Championship. Vex, on the other hand, though, not a slouch of a team, but EnVy just certainly on another tier. But the path for Vex is not over yet, because that was their first matchup in the group. They still have another match to, 2 more matches to come, as a matter of fact. And this is the group with Immunity and Elevate. So that Elevate Vex game, which is the matchup everyone's looking out for, but it's a kind of different tone, though, from the Infuse game, right? I want to get your thoughts on this, because the Infuse Reciprocity game, Infuse nearly went to Game 5, went toe-to-toe with Reciprocity, whereas this time around, this was just a 3-0, and there was really nothing to write home about, Wonder Boy. So you're going into your next few games here off of that 3-0 loss. How do you rally back from that?
You have to make the adjustments. I mean, Vex will know what they did wrong in that series. I mean, it was individual plays, individual fights that they were taking that they cannot take here at the World Championships, because these are North American teams. They're on another level. They will pick you apart time after time. They have to go back. They'll have time now to talk about it before their next game. They can make the adjustments and just say, hey, we expected to lose that series against Team EnVyUs. The world knows it. We know it. We're not on their level. We can now push on to a team which is now more kind of within our bracket, if you will, within our skill tier, and we can potentially take a series off them and then push into bracket play, because if they do take that series against Elevate, they're more than likely going to beat Immunity, right? And then all of a sudden they're top 8. They make it into bracket play. They are top 8 in the world. So that's their goal right now. They just have to go back, reset, make the adjustments.
Yeah, if I'm an Elevate fan, I'm very excited for what I just watched out of EnVy and Vex. I mean, that's as bad as you can get beat down in a series. You got staked, you got 3-0'd, you got 100. You didn't get double digits in the stronghold. It's not little mistakes that you made. You got to. All 4 of them had to step it up individually and be able to take that game to 2-3 levels higher than what they were just playing. If they expect to beat someone like Elevate.
Yeah, it doesn't get any easier at this point in time. Speaking of, we're at the halfway point of group play, so let's jump into how the groups have shaped out thus far. No big surprises, though. This is going to be Group A currently. Splice and Straight Rippin', the 2 North American teams, sitting with a win apiece. Berserker and Fable will face off against each other very soon, I believe. I don't know when that match is going to take place, whether it be on the Alpha or the Bravo stage. But Straight Rippin' and Splice, though. I mean, 2 teams that I think everyone kind of, you know, expected to be in this spot halfway through the tournament. I'm pumped, though, Clutch, for that Splice Straight game, because, hey, you never know. Straight could just come out of the gate, just guns blazing.
Yeah, we've seen Straight play some top teams pretty close. They have some individual skill, and their aggressiveness really does throw off some of the top teams. That being said, they're gonna like I keep saying, like they're gonna have to take their game to a whole nother level. Straight Ribbon had a good series earlier today. They started kind of cold, warmed up, but they got to turn that warmed up into an on fire against Splice.
And then as we move forward, though, you have Group B, headlined by Tox, and again, the North American teams shining here. But Wise and Mindfreak sitting with a loss apiece. That game could really change the tone. Mindfreak losing to Renegades certainly hurts, but hey, man, if we see a Renegades team that is just destroying, maybe? I don't know. I mean, we haven't had any surprises yet, so I'm trying to tee it up, Lethal.
Trying to get that optimism up.
Get the optimism going.
You joke about it, but Renegades has played Tox very close. And
yeah,
they have players that have upset teams in the past. I mean, every one of those players has been here. It can happen. If Tox comes out even off pace with their mid-game, I think Renegades, they showed the first series that they're here to play.
And it's a practiced Renegades as well. The other two events have not been practicing that much, so this time we can really see if they have that potential for top 4. You know, I think they've separated themselves from 6 to 8 perfectly fine, but now it's like, can they even take 3rd or 4th, or even go further on? So, you know, it's like I said, they've got a bit of potential to do it, but still be a struggle. But I'm hoping the practice they've made the last few weeks has paid off them.
All I'm saying is, man, if you're not practicing before events, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? So come on, Renegades.
Championship.
You know, I'm glad they practiced for this one. Okay, so Group C. Updates over there as well, and this will be Maestro, Infuse, Oxygen Supremacy, and Reciprocity. Have not seen that Infuse Reciprocity game, or excuse me, Infuse Oxygen Supremacy matchup, but this group could have been very different potentially. I mean, granted, we still had to go to Game 5, but there was a potential for Infuse to have the biggest upset of the tournament, Wonderboy.
Yes.
It could have been Infuse at the top and Reciprocity sitting there with a loss, which would have changed the entire makeup of the group. But we're in this very familiar position.
Of course. Very strange circumstances in that game, but they have to do what Vex now have to do. They have to reset. They have to make the adjustments, because the big game, the money match for them, is Oxygen Supremacy. That's the second shark in their pool. They've already shown in the European scene they can take down Maestro very, very easily, so that's not going to be a problem for them at all. They don't need to worry about that game. They need to worry about Oxygen Supremacy. That's been their target. As soon as these pools were announced, as soon as they were drawn in Columbus, Infuse are like, hey, the team we need to beat is going to be Oxygen Supremacy to make it to that top.
Right, and we can't count out Oxygen Supremacy versus Reciprocity either. I mean, we haven't seen that series go down. And the way Reciprocity was playing earlier today, they're going to have to step it up. They can't play like they played against Infuse against this.
They need game 1 and 2 Reciprocity, you know, not game 3 and 4 Reciprocity. Granted, though, not to take anything away from Infuse, because Infuse did play some very strong Halo there toward the tail end of that series. But then moving on, though, we have Group D, and this is the group headlined by the boys in Blue Team EnVy. You just saw them take the stage in just a little bit, and they had defeated Vex handedly 3-0. Immunity nearly took it to Elevate in that game 1, but since then, though, it was just all Elevate. They dominated 3-0, so the two North American teams also shining there as well, Clutch. And this is another group that, like, Vex could potentially shock us and take out Elevate, but they need to play better than what they played in that last series against EnVy.
I think Pool D's wrapped up. I think we got the two North American teams coming out of it. The way I've seen Elevate play, the way I've seen EnVy play, it's going to take a miracle for my mind to change on that.
I think Vex probably have about a 35% chance that they can take down Elevate.
35,
that's not the mathematics.
Yeah, I mean,
They got a 35%, you know, repeating, of course,
that's actually,
chance to win
that's
this.
a really good impression.
Wow.
Yeah, that's my Wonder Boy. If he was American, that would be my American Wonder Boy impression.
Reason Golden Boy put me in between y'all.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Hold me back, Wes. Hold me back.
I think you could do that with a single finger, honestly.
I pack a lot of muscle, okay?
Definitely. Sure. God bless you.
I still think that it's possible that Vex can beat Elevate. It's very, very unlikely, in my opinion,
35%.
based on how we saw Vex play in the previous. Can you guys shut up about my mathematics? I was just giving you guys a general idea of how likely it is that Vex might win the series.
Yep.
I don't think they can.
I think Elevate definitely favorites, but
You
I
just
think
watched
it's
that
possible.
EnVy series, right?
I did, but we have to remember as well, EnVy is a team that could potentially win the Halo World Championships. Vex second best team in Europe. You know, they're not on that level yet. They're in a different tier, whereas I feel like Elevate is more within the reaches of Vexed Buyer. I think you guys definitely did not see the best Vexed in that previous series. I think EnVy has definitely found that.
But the problem is, though, with Vexed, if they're playing that team on the same day, this is where we're going to see serious issues. I think Elevate and Infuse can be quite similar in a way, but Vex are still quite far behind Infuse. I don't care what anyone says. End of the day, they're not close to them at all, and I don't think they will get so close to Elevate. But don't get me wrong, like, they might change things up and actually all suddenly play on form, or maybe it's because of the fact that Vex assumed they were going to go with a heavy loss, so they just kind of like accepted their fate in a way. But I'm really hoping that if they do turn to Elevate, they have to completely change how they played on that last series, because if they don't, then yeah, they're already in serious trouble.
Well, we got to put a pin on that one, and we'll see them later on in the competition. Though our next matchup, you see it there, it's Splice versus Fable Esports. And before we get into breaking down this game, let's actually jump into an interview that Lottie had earlier on with Shotzi to get his thoughts on this matchup.
Shotzi, it's day one of the Halo World Championships, and we cannot wait for you guys to get on stage and play. Now, Splice, you're such a dominant team in this competition. You've had an incredible run to be here today, and you're facing Fable. Now, Fable have already had a tough defeat today, earlier on. How are you feeling going against these EU guys?
Going against Fable, it's we're looking confident playing them, and we're just gonna take every game like how we've been normally playing, just how we play and like fast and all this aggressive stuff. So yeah, I look forward to playing Fable.
Talking about how you play, obviously, when you're leading up to a tournament like this, it's such a big deal. How are you practicing? Because you have a strange practice regimen. I mean, you don't scrim online, the competition doesn't get to see what you guys are doing. Is that an advantage for you?
The way we look at it is like when we scrim, for some reason, like with our individual skill feels like we get worse for some reason, and like the other team like has an advantage because like I have no clue why, but like twos helps us because like one, it gets us better individually. Two, it helps us like communicate way better because there's only 2 people on the map. So we use twos as like an advantage. So that's why we play twos.
Well, if it works, it works. And of course, when you get on that stage, you guys are the most cool and calm, collected team I've ever seen. You guys don't look like anything phases you whatsoever. How does it feel being on that stage? Is it just another day job to you? Is it just another day in your career?
Yeah, we try to make it, every single time we're on stage, we try to make it like we're at home. So we try to like, you know, I mean, if we have to take off our sandals, we take off our sandals. Take off our shoes, take off our shoes. So yeah, we try to make it as home when we're on the stage, so like we feel comfortable playing. And yeah, like you said, nothing phases us.
Fantastic. Well, I cannot wait to see you play, and I'm sure everyone at home can't wait either. Good luck, and I'll see you a little bit later on. Golden Boy, back to you at the desk.